So hello everyone, this is Becky. My name is Becky with Scott Leroy Marketing, and today we are going to be doing our opportunities and sales pipeline overview. So it's going to be talking about opportunities. We'll kind of talk from the beginning of your transaction all the way to the end, and I'll walk you through the steps as well as um, the different things there. So before we get started, I do want to say if you have any questions as I go through, please go ahead and drop them in the chat. I will do my best to get them answered in real time. However, for the sake of time, I may have to save the questions for the end. So if you drop questions in the chat, I promise I'm not ignoring you. If I don't answer it right away, I will definitely save some time at the end to get those answered. I just want to make sure we have enough time to cover everything, and make sure we get through it with a good amount of time. So yeah, today's recording will be on our YouTube channel, which I do see a question about that in the chat. Today's class recording will be on our YouTube channel within 24 hours. Since it is Friday, it should be end of the business day today. I'm dropping the link to our YouTube channel in the chat. Who wants to cooperate with me? There we go. So that is linked to our YouTube channel. When you are on our YouTube channel, I do want to point out that we always recommend checking out the videos tab. So when you are on here, you can either come down here and see our most recent 12 videos, or you can go to the videos tab right here. The videos tab just shows the most recent videos at the top. So today's class recording should be up here at the very top. We usually do a tip video during the day as well, so it may be the second one or this first one, depending on how we upload it. But it will be one of these top videos up here. So feel free to check that out. You can also find previous archives for this class on there if you want to look at it before we have it live on our YouTube channel. Either way, you'll be able to find it, no problem. But we do always recommend looking for those most recent videos because things are always changing in command and the services that we offer here at Scott Leroy Marketing. Um, so for example, I'm just going to search today's class would search sales pipeline. So if I'm searching, the first one right here is from 8 months ago, 1 year ago. So these don't show up in order. So we just always recommend you scroll down until you find the more recent one. Especially if it's a class archive, it should be in the past month or 2 months, depending on our class schedule. So generally, more recent ones would be better. For example, we'll actually talk about some updates to the opportunities tab. There's just a couple of small updates. They're mostly visual updates and not actually changing how it works. But I will point those out, and those are actually going to be different from our video from a month ago. So that's why we always recommend looking for those most recent videos. Just make sure you have up-to-date information there, because things are always changing, commands always growing. So yeah. If you are just joining, if you have questions as we go through, please feel free to drop them in the chat. Or if you have questions after we are done or you're watching this back on recording, if you have any questions, you can email us. Our email is support@scottleroymarketing.com. Gonna drop that in the chat for you all as well. There we have it. Alrighty, so without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and jump in. So the opportunities and sales pipeline, what exactly is it? So opportunities are your transactions. It's how you're gonna track your transaction from start to finish. So from the time you get a new lead all the way through to the closing table and getting paid after closing. So it's a way for you to track that transaction all the way through. I'm going to be walking you through the basics of the sales pipeline and things like that for the first half of class. So exploring the opportunities tab, showing you how to create one and manage it, edit it, move it through the sales pipeline, things like that. And then we're going to spend the last half of the class going through the actual sales pipeline. So more like we're going to be talking what happens, what your steps are, and things like that. So the first part is going to be kind of an overview of how you can do some basic things, and then the second half is going to be walking you through that process from start to finish. So again, this is an overview class. It's just an overview of the sales pipeline and the opportunities. But again, I'm definitely here to help answer any questions that you may have throughout the process. We do have another part to this class. It is the checklists, and now I'm forgetting the name of the class. But we do have other parts to this, and I'll kind of I'll tell you the titles of those as we get to those parts in Command. Um, but yeah, so before we jump into the actual opportunities, I do want to show you one of the settings that you'll want to check on before you start creating opportunities, and that is to make sure your DocuSign or dot loop is linked. So DocuSign and Dotloop are both signature platforms that you'll use to edit forms, send them out to your clients for signatures, and receive them back. So DocuSign specifically will apply to the majority of you. We do have some offices that we work with where the agents use a different system other than DocuSign. Some of them use Dotloop. However, if you use a different platform than either of those, I believe it's some of the offices in Canada and maybe California as well. There's a couple specific locations. I'm not sure what exactly they are, where it's a different platform altogether. Basically, just keep using what your Market Center tells you to use. But for the majority of you, it is going to be DocuSign, and some of you, it will be Dotloop as well. So first thing we want to do is we want to go over to the drop-down menu under our name. We're going to click on Settings. And down under Settings, you're going to see the digital signature and transaction settings. So it's going to be DocuSign and Dotloop, and we can connect them here. So I'm going to go ahead and connect our DocuSign account. If you have not created an account before, you will be able to do that here. If you have an account right here, ours is signed out, so I'm going to go ahead and sign in real quick. Let me grab that. We do have a class that goes more in depth on DocuSign altogether, and that is going to be probably can't, that's going to be our DocuSign 101 class, which I believe we are doing next Friday. Give me just a second. Let me sign in over here. There we go. Probably didn't show you the pop out because I think I'm only sharing this window, but it did pop out to ask me to sign in. And then you can see it's been signed in right there. And we're going to go back over to our command home. And then we're going to navigate to the opportunities applet. So our applets menu is going to be this left-hand menu. You can expand it to see what each of them are just by clicking the red square with the white KW in it. But the opportunities applet is going to be the two shaking hands. So we're going to do that. We'll just minimize that again. And now that we are here, we're going to do kind of an overview of what you're seeing. So if you are on a team, you're going to see more than one tab up here. So you'll usually see only two. So all opportunities and then your personal one. But if you're on a team, you will see two separate tabs. It'll have your team name for one. And that's where you can access those team opportunities. So this one is just going to show us our sales pipeline. It's more of a visual representation. So you'll see the images and you can just scroll down and you'll see different trackers and things like that through there. If you go to the All Opportunities tab, this one is better for if you are just looking for a specific opportunity. It'll also show you your archived opportunities if you filter that way. It's where you can find them just by filtering, and then you'd go down to archived or lost down here. But yeah, so this is where you'll find most of those opportunities that you've created, and you can go through even the closed ones and things like that. A great option. You can search by the address, the opportunity name, or the contact on the opportunity. Again, I showed you those filters, but there's a bunch of filters in there that you can take a look at. If you're familiar with Command, you probably know there's filters for a lot of different things. It's one of my favorite features of Command, is that there's filters for just about everything, so you can find what you need. We also have Smart Views, which is going to be similar to what we have in our Contacts applet, where we can set a default view using filters and things like that. Alrighty, so we're going to go back over to this tab right here, our Personal Opportunities tab with our sales pipeline. So there are three different pipelines. So each of these is called a pipeline, and we have listings, buyers, and leases. So we'll start up here at the top. We'll just kind of walk through what each of these are. So within each opportunity or within each pipeline, you have 5 different phases. And the listings and the buyers are going to be the same. The leases will be a little bit different in that it'll show pending instead of under contract, but that's about the only difference there in the names of what they look like and things like that. But cultivate, so that is going to be when you are starting to form the relationship with your client. Maybe you're collecting the personal information, getting more information, or having a first real estate conversation with them. Basically, you're trying to get to the point where maybe they'll start talking about setting an appointment with you. So that's going to be the cultivate. You're still working on nurturing that and growing that relationship before you get to the appointment phase. The appointment, fairly self-explanatory. That's when you have that appointment set. So you'll move it to the appointment phase. Next, you have active. Active is when you have ink on paper, you have those signed documents. You are now representing them as listing agent, buyer's agent, or leasing agent through there. So you're representing them. You have signed documents proving you're representing them. That's going to be your active phase. Finally, you have under contract, which again, fairly self-explanatory. You are under contract. You have on a specific property, you have written contracts there. And then closed is going to be, again, self-explanatory. Once you are closed, you've gone to the closing table already. I do want to point out that this number is going to reset every month. Generally on the first of the month, whenever your market center does their month-end close or transmittal, whichever they call it, this will reset. You'll be able to find those closed opportunities under the All Opportunities tab, but this is just going to show you what you have active, and then the closed is going to be for this month only. I do want to point that out. It does confuse some people, or they get worried that they don't see any here. Don't worry, especially if it's at the beginning of the month. Like it is now, it probably just reset for all of you. So don't worry if it shows 0. We have time to get some close this month. Yeah, so all of these icons are a hyperlink that we can click on to see the different opportunities in that phase. So if you click on it, you'll see what is in that specific phase. I don't want to get too in depth on that part just yet because I'm going to circle back to that. Kind of just doing an overview of what we're seeing here. Under this, you're going to see the volume. So you'll see what the numbers are looking like for the opportunity in that phase. And then you have the average time opportunities spend in those phases. So this is a demo account, so hopefully it will look a little better than some of our numbers here. So these numbers look a little wonky. That's just because it is a demo account. So yours will probably look a little better than that. But you can see the arrows, and this is basically just how the opportunity is going to flow. It just kind of shows you the path it's going to take. On the right-hand side, I also get questions about GCI when it says potential income versus probable income. So potential income is going to be the total commission for all of the opportunities in your listings pipeline, and that's going to be based on if they all make it all the way through to closing. Probable income is adjusted based on what stage the opportunity is in. So each stage has a different probability to close. You can actually update that if the numbers are a little different for your business. And I'll show you where you can see those in a little bit. But as the opportunities move through, you'll see that probable income number is going to go up. So currently we have a bunch in Cultivate. Those are far less likely to close than when they're under contract or active. So this number is going to change depending on where the opportunity is for all of these different pipelines. And then down at the bottom, we're going to see our ratio graph right here. So we can see how many opportunities of each type we have. So listings, buyers, and leases, they're color coded just like they are up here to make it a little easier visually. So we have green, orange, and purple, and you'll see those same colors right here. And then you have the breakdown down below, again with that probable versus potential income. It's going to be the same difference you would see up here. We have an activity graph, and it's going to be over the last 12 months. You'll see what your business tends to look like in those months. So we'll see our exponentially grows here. We had 0 here, and then we started adding more opportunities. If you hover over them, you can see when those opportunities were created under each, or how many opportunities were created that month under each. You can also go to all opportunities, and you can toggle between listing, buyer, landlord, or tenant opportunities right here if you want to view the different types of opportunities. And then down below, you have closing this month. And closing this month, this is going to show all of the ones that are under contract. We have that close date set for this month. So you'll see that go right there. So yeah, so that is our opportunities dashboard. We've covered everything here. Now I want to walk you through creating an opportunity. So you can create an opportunity right here through Create Opportunity. You can also create it through our Contacts applet. So we can go over to our Contacts applet. We can pick a contact once it loads. We'll go, so many fake contacts to choose from. If you go to Opportunities, you'll be able to click Create Opportunity right here. And it's going to show you the same form that you would fill out under the Opportunities tab. I'm going to go from the Opportunities tab just so we can show you that way, but I just wanted to show you it is an option to do it through the contact directly. So you can go Create Opportunity. Anything with a red asterisk is going to be a required field. If you are in more than one market center, you're going to want to make sure that you have the correct market center selected. This cannot be changed once it's selected. So if you're in more than one, just make sure you double check that because once you create the opportunity, you can't change that. You would have to archive and recreate the opportunity. So we always just want to remind you to make sure you make that's the right market center there. If you're on a team, you'll be able to choose whether it's a team opportunity or not. If you're on a team, you just want to make sure, just make that decision whether it's a team opportunity or a solo opportunity. If you choose the team opportunity, the Rainmaker is going to show as the owner of the opportunity pretty much every time. So, yeah, so we can select our opportunity type right here. I'm going to show you a listing opportunity because it has two main things that the other opportunities don't. They all function pretty much the same. I just want to show you two additional features under the listing type of opportunity. Again, owner right there. We have ourselves selected. And then under seller, this is where we can link our contact to it. So we're just going to start typing. Go here, I'll just grab this one. And you can link your contact directly. If you don't have a contact in there, first of all, you do want to start typing and then they'll start to populate. So they're not going to populate immediately. You do want to start typing. But you can also go down and you can click Add New Contact if you need to, if you don't have one in there. But it does have to be linked to a specific contact. So we're going to go ahead and go with this one. You can add additional sellers through here if you need to. Not a required field. You can also add them again later on. But if you have a co-seller, you can add them right here. The opportunity name, it's automatically going to populate with our contact name and then say what type of opportunity is. You can always edit this. So if you have an address in mind or something like that, you can go through and you can change that opportunity name. Totally up to you. We have tags, and that's just going to be a way where we can sort our opportunities. Maybe we want to track how many opportunities are a certain type. Maybe we specialize in doing military, working with military. So we can do that here. We can choose that tag and it's going to show up on the opportunity. Again, we can also add tags after we create the opportunity. So it's not required to add right now. Pretty much everything you're filling out here can be edited later, except for this stuff up here. So market center number, whether it's team or not, opportunity type and owner, you can drop them there. Donna said, I have a question. You can go ahead and drop that in the chat. I might have to save it for the end if it's an in-depth question. But go ahead and drop it in the chat and I'll make sure I get to your questions. I know some people have joined since I said that earlier, so feel free to drop those in the chat as you have those questions, and I'll be sure to get to them at the end, so go ahead. But you can go ahead and you can add those tags here if you want. Close date, listing price, commission rate, commission amount. So if you have all of those, you can. And then our opportunity phase and opportunity stage are required right here as well. So we're going to go ahead and create. I do see a question, owner means seller. So yes, if they are the owner of the property and they're the ones selling, then yes, they would be in that contact field. So yeah, so this is what an opportunity is going to look like once it's created. So we'll just do a quick overview of what you're seeing right here. So right here, we obviously have a back button, so we can go back. This one's changed. This is what has changed. So I said earlier, something changed. This right here is what looks a little different than it used to. It all functions pretty much the same, but this page, especially right here, is what's going to look a little different. So you can export the documents if you have those already added. You can export them if you need to. You can look at those tasks, and those are going to change as you move through the pipeline. So you can see what the tasks are under each stage of that pipeline, and you can be able to go through and see those depending on what stage you're currently in. We'll talk about tasks a little later on as well. You can generate a summary. So you can generate a summary for the opportunity if you need to. The three dots right here, you can mark it as lost, archive it, or go to your opportunity settings. So you can do all of those from right here. In this side panel right here, we can add a KWLS listing. So this is one of those things that's different from between a buyer's opportunity and a listing opportunity. So you'd be able to link it right here. That way it's just linked for the whole thing. It should populate details into your document and kind of just fill out this, some more of this information if it's linked to it. So we could link a listing right here. So we would just click add KWLS listing. It's going to populate this right here. And this is something that confuses a lot of people. It can be a little concerning because it says, sorry, no listings match your search. Generally, you'll see this if you do not have your MLS ID added to command. It is not, you do not have to have your MLS ID added in order to link it to a listing. You'll just have to go about it a little differently. So on this one, you're just going to click street address, and we always recommend toggling to MLS number. It's going to be more accurate, have some more specific opportunities there, or listings there. So we're going to grab our MLS ID for the property we're looking for. We'll enter that in, and we're going to switch this to show all listings instead of just only my listing. So if we say search KWLS, and then we'll go down and we will find our opportunity through here. This is the one we're looking at right here. And then we can just close this out, and it's going to update for us. So you'll be able to have that linked automatically. You can go in and you can change that if you need to. But that's something you can bypass right there. Alrighty, so then moving down the left-hand side, you can add the property type and classification in here if you need to. So we can say it's residential, we can say whether it's resale, new home, multifamily, lot, farm, ranch. So we can go in and select those. I can do that. Then I'm just going to fill out this side for us. So yeah, we can change this to set up email updates for our clients. Email updates are basically going to be sending emails. We'll kind of talk about this later when we talk about the things you can include in the email updates. But basically, you can send email updates on what happened, each day. Each day something does happen. You can send those updates to your client right there. Here's where we can add additional sellers right here. So you can go through and you can add more contacts. Same thing, you'll have to start searching for them to populate. We'll be able to add those there. You can click the three dots right here to go to the contact. If you have multiple contacts, you would be able to remove this client, but we have to have at least one on here. You'll see their information populate right here. And then down below, you'll see the list price, commission rate, commission amount, and estimated close date. Those are things we can go in and we can edit. So we can go in and edit our commission rate. Say it's 7%. It's going to update right there, and it'll tell us what the estimated commission amount would be. And we can set our estimated close date. So we have those options to go in and edit there. And then under the details tab right here, you're going to be able to go edit this general information. So we can add those tags right here if we wanted to. Again, the opportunity type is going to be locked. You're not going to be able to edit that. But you can change the opportunity name right here. Change the phase and stage. There's other ways we can do this as well. And then there's the opportunity ID. If we need to copy that to our clipboard, we can do that here. Once we have accepted an offer and have submitted a commission request, we should see a transaction ID appear right here, but that'll happen after the commission request has been submitted. Ownership down here, you're going to see the Mark Center and the owner of the opportunity. Again, those are not going to be editable fields. You would need, if either of those were wrong, you would need to archive and recreate the opportunity. Key dates right here. These are great if you go ahead and fill them out as they become available. It's important because you will have tasks associated with your opportunity that we'll get into that shortly, but this will help you schedule those tasks. So maybe we have our photography date. We can go select from the calendar, or we can type the date either way. So maybe we have photography on Monday. We can put that there. Staging date, we'll say it's today. We can go and fill those out as we'd like. Down here, we can also add a description for the opportunity if we'd like to do that. So that's going to be the details tab. Moving over, we have the marketing tab. This is also something that is going to be specific to listing opportunities. And these basically is just going to populate some designs right here that you can use for marketing this listing. So this is going to, provide some recommended designs that you can use. You can create a new design or create a paid campaign for this listing through here. As the opportunity moves through the sales pipeline, you'll actually see that these are going to change. So when we change the phase, we'll see a new set of recommendations. For example, right now it's showing based on us still being in the cultivate phase where we want to show our value to our clients before they fully sign with us. So we can go through and, do we know the value? Do you know the value of your home? Client testimonials, trend alert. And then as we move further along, we'll see those update to be more specific. The next tab we have is going to be the documents tab. And the documents, you're going to be here a lot. This is where you can come in and see the list of all the documents that your market center needs. We can go through and we can select that. Saying I need to connect to a document provider in the settings to use this option. We may have it connected to another account. That might be a problem. We'll check on that in a minute. But yeah, so you would come here, you'll see all those documents. I'll have to get that fixed. Let me see if I can do that real quick. But you're going to go there, upload your documents to your market center for approval and things like that. The next tab is going to be your offers and commissions. So this is where you will go through and once there's an offer on the property, you'll be able to fill it out right here and create an offer, things like that. Vendors, you'll be able to link any vendors to this this opportunity. So you can say, you have the attorney for the buyer, attorney for the seller, and you can link it all right there. So you have that documentation through here. We have the notes section. So notes created by opportunity assignees are going to show up right here. As well as you'll see the timeline through here. So the timeline, you can change the date range to show all the time, the last 7 days, the last 30 days, or any of those. So you can go through and you'll just see what happened to this opportunity for all time. So that really covers what we have through here. Let me try to get this document working real quick. May have to all right, well, we're going to go ahead. I'm going to do a review. We're going to talk through the sales pipelines as I work on getting this fixed real quick. But basically, the sales pipelines is how you're going to find those individual opportunities. So you can click on each phase through here and go in and see the different opportunities in the phase, like we mentioned earlier. So you'll see different stages in each phase. It's kind of sounds like a lot, it kind of is. So we have, this is going to be our pipeline. This is, cultivate is going to be the phase. And then each of these is going to be a stage within that phase. So as the opportunity moves through, goes from being under the watch phase to nurture, hot, or even moves to appointment. We can drag and drop them wherever we'd like. It wants to let me drag and drop it. There we go. Then we can go to our appointment phase and we'll see it right in here. But clicking on the name of it will open that opportunity. You'll see the information populate right here, whether the email updates are on or off. You'll also see the checklist for each stage. So the checklists are going to be basically, really it's going to be a bunch of tasks that you'll set to be completed in each phase and stage of the opportunity. So you'll go through and you will create those, update them. They have them automatically in there, but you can go in and you can edit them right here. So you'll go through, this is what will automatically show up right here. This one specifically is for the opportunity we were looking at. So we clicked it right here. This is going to be the tasks for this specific opportunity. We can go in, we can create tasks, so we can make specific things. Again, this is going to change only for that opportunity we're looking at. So maybe we want to set a call task where we're going to call our client the day before photography, since we did our photography date already. All about photographers. And then we can add a description if we'd like. So we can say appointment. And we can go down and we can change, we can add a hyperlink, priority level, due date. So due date, we can select a calendar date, or we can set a smart due date. So when we were talking about setting up those opportunities, we talked about those key dates. So we can say on our smart due date or before, and then we can have it say a day before. We can go down, let me scroll down so you can see our photography date. We can set our due time and things like that. We can create that, and it's going to create it specifically for that opportunity. We have the option, if you go to the stages and checklists right here, you'll be able to go into each stage of it and edit it for all opportunities. So you'll see those. You can also choose whether it shows on email updates to your clients or not. That's totally up to you. So if there's something you want, it'll notify your clients when that has been updated. So basically the client updates is going to send an email once a day if something's been completed. It'll email your client if you have them turned on. You have to turn them on individually for, you have to turn it on individually for each opportunity. It's not going to be automatically on, but those are great for if you have someone who maybe needs a little more hand-holding. So they're going to have to go in and so you'll want to go in, tell them what's been done each day, maybe a first-time buyer, but you want to go in each day and it'll tell them, these things were completed today, so they know. Maybe they have, the personality where they want to know everything that's happening as it's happening. And so doing that will just, remind them that you're on top of it, show them what happened. Maybe for some of them, like, for example, an investor isn't going to want every single update. They just wanted to get through the process. So as you go through, you'll be able to choose who gets what updates. But as you go to the checklist, you can choose whether it sends an email update or not if you have those turned on. KW does have a sample opportunity checklist. So I'm going to drop this link in the chat for you. So that link is from KW. You'll just click make a copy. And as you go in, you'll see they have a bunch of different options in here that's going to allow you to copy and paste these as you create new tasks. And they have them broken down by our stages and phases. And so we can go through and we can choose. Down at the bottom, they have it buyers, listings, leases, tags, some tag options you can use. So some common ones people like to use. Just some great options for you to go through and customize them and choose what you want to show. So yeah, so we are going to go back over. I think I don't have this fixed, so we should be able to go back in. Let me grab this here real quick. Let me make sure. All right. I'm gonna finish grabbing this real quick, and then we can jump back into our sales pipeline. We'll go back over here. I'm just gonna head back up to the same page. Sorry about that, guys. Just trying to fix this real quick so you can jump in. That is one thing to note, that you can only have your DocuSign or .loop linked to one account at a time. And we have two separate demo accounts, and it was linked to the other one. And I think that's what's causing this problem. So hopeful to that. There we go. But yeah, so we'll walk through what happens with an opportunities process. So you meet the person, you've created the opportunity, you've cultivated your relationship, scheduled the appointment. Now you need the documents for that opportunity. I'm going to try refreshing this since I just logged back in. Hopefully that'll work. I'm going to go into my opportunity. I put it in the appointment phase. So I'm going to go in here. There we go. So we're going to go to the Documents tab over here, and you'll see the names of the different documents you need. If you don't see it, you likely need to select the checklist type right here. So every Market Center's checklist for documents are different. So you can go through and you would select what type it is. Some Market Centers only have one type of checklist. Some will have different types of residential, different commercial, different things like that. And that way you'll see what your required documents are. So going through, you'll see if it's a required document, if it's optional. So you'll want to go fill those out. So you always have the option to attach files from your computer, so you can upload them manually. You can either click browse and then upload it from there, or you can drag and drop the documents from your file over into this field right here. We also have the option to sync with DocuSign. So if you have both DocuSign and .loop connected, it will say sync with document provider, I believe. And so you would click on that and it would let you choose between DocuSign or .loop. An important thing to note with choosing between DocuSign and .loop, once you've selected the document provider, you can't switch back between the two. So once you pick one, you're stuck with that one. So if you need, for example, you chose .loop and you need DocuSign, you would have to recreate the opportunity or download those files manually and upload them in from your computer. So there's different options there depending on what you select, but I only have DocuSign connected here. So I'm going to go ahead and click Sync with DocuSign. Once I do that, it's going to bring me directly to a room created specifically for this opportunity. So it's going to be linked. So any documents I have in here, I'll be able to upload them into my opportunity and so on and so forth. We do have another class, DocuSign 101, that walks you through DocuSign and the process there. So adding documents, sending it out for signatures, making sure, you have signature fields and things like that. So I highly recommend checking out our DocuSign 101, walks you through that. But we'll say we've got our forms signed, and so we are ready to go live with our listings. So if we come back over here to our opportunities tab, you're going to go through and you're going to see right in here, you'll see the drop-down menu and you'll be able to select those documents once you have them added to your room and signed. So you'll be able to see that in here. So once you do all of that, you're going to go to submit to Market Center. So once you've uploaded all of those files you need right there, once you go through and upload them, you'll want to click Submit to Market Center. So they will let you know if it's approved, if it needs anything. You'll see a comment box appear right here if they've said maybe you need to change something. Once it's submitted, you'll see it'll say submitted. And then it'll also tell you if it's been approved or rejected, or if it's conditionally approved, I believe is the other option. So you'll see those through there, and you can go through and select those documents, make changes as your market center tells you to, and things like that. So then once we are there, next we're under contract. Once you do that, you want to go through and create an offer. We'll just say add a new offer right here. You can change your offer name if you'd like, property address, and then you'll select from the KWLS. This is going to be the same process we looked at earlier, where we want to generally make sure we select our MLS number right here and search by that. And then you also want to filter to show all listings instead of only my listings. That's going to allow you to search not just what's showing on yours, and you can go through and find the listing through there once you search for the MLS ID. This one's already selected because I added it on the left-hand side for the listing opportunity. So this one has it already selected. With a buyer's opportunity, it won't have this option to add it on the left-hand side. So you would need to go in and put it through here. Moving down, we have our property type, residential and resale, which automatically filled in when we put it over here. We have our total units, seller's agent representative, buyer info. We can go through and fill this out. So we would need to put our buyer's name in here. So we'll just say test buyer. You can add co-buyers if you need to. Buyer's agent representative, if you want to fill that out, you can. And then we will fill out our terms and dates. So again, anything with a red asterisk. So anything with a red asterisk is going to be marked or is going to be a required field. So you can go in and you can enter our sales price in here, which the list price over here shows $674,900. We'll say that was our offer was at sales price. The amount of cash, we'll say this is a cash offer, so we'll just put the full amount in there. And then we'll see that automatically updates, does the math for us on how much the finance is on it. You can enter the earnest percentage and amount here if you need to. Commission rate, commission amount, you can adjust those. Our contract date, we'll want to go ahead and put that in. So we'll say it is today. And then our close date, that is a required field. You do want to enter that in. We'll say it closes, I was going to say the 28th, but that's Thanksgiving week. We'll do the week after. So we'll go through and do those. You can add any contingencies or any comments that you want your clients to see on there. So you can go through, do all of that, and then we can create our offer. We also have the option to create and accept, but I want to show you this one. You'll see the offer was added, and you also probably saw a pop-up that said it moved our transaction through the pipeline, so it moved it to the active pipeline. So if we're to the point where we are receiving offers, that means that it is active, so it just moved it to the active phase for us. We can add another offer if we wanted to, so we can go out and fill this information and adjust our offer name, go through, fill all this out. We can say our sales pipe, can actually say, we'll say we got above ask price, or, yeah. And then we can enter cash, but we can say that maybe, we have $5,000 cash, things like that. So we can go through and fill all of this out. Contract date. You would want to fill it out before you accept the offer. You don't have to fill it out as you're comparing offers, though. Close date, we'll say it closes on the same date. Any contingencies or comments, and we can create the offer. Give it a second. Oh, there we go. I forgot to put the buyer name in there. That's why. There we go. And then you can go through and you can compare these offers. So you would just select both offers and you can compare the offers. And you'll see what it looks like, a breakdown, and you can email that offer comparison directly to your client through command, or you can download it to send to your clients. Either way, we can go back to our offers, and then as we go through, we can edit our offers, we can remove offers, or we can accept or reject individual ones. So we'll go with this one. We'll say accept, and then it automatically updates the phase once again to under contract because we've accepted one. Now we can go to manage commission. It'll generally automatically bring us there. If we toggle, oh, maybe not. We can go manage commission. And then you'll see all of these different things through here that you can go in and edit. This is going to be the commission request to your market center. So this is basically what you're going to get paid based off of. So generates all of this information. You just want to make sure that all of it is correct. Your commission information, commission overview, these numbers over here are correct. And then you would submit them to the market center, and then they can approve it and pay you from there. I do want to point out here, once you are under contract, you'll want to go to the under contract phase, upload those documents, and then we can submit it to the market center. Same with our closed, you'll have to go in and upload those documents and submit it. So you have to submit it under each of these different checklists here. So listed, under contract, and closed, you'll go through and submit them to the market center once you have all of your documents uploaded there. Alrighty, so that covers our overview. I do see a bunch of questions in the chat, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up our recording, and then we will go ahead and get to those questions. If you're not sticking around for questions, hope you have a fantastic rest of your weekend. Thank you for joining me, and we will see you next time.